everybody. Welcome to the Watch Pals. My name is Chris. This week we watched Mortal Engines. Before we get into that movie, I'm going to introduce the panel of pals by welcoming Jeff to the show.
Hey! Yep.
Welcoming Brian to the show. And then finally welcoming...
What was that?
That's how he says hello. And when you get into work in the morning.
He made a sound, so I didn't know what sound to make next.
And welcoming Jordan to the show.
Oh. That could have been several things. Yeah, you got to insert a plop.
Welcome everybody to the show, and welcome to all the viewers out there, or listeners out there, I should say. This week we watched Mortal Engines, my choice. Before I get into that, I want to ask you guys, I'm going to do another segment of Get to Know Your Pals by asking you all, what is one category, movie category, that when you see it or hear it, you're like, nope, I'm good. I totally check out. Don't even care. And I know the easiest answer probably is like, well, documentary or something, but let's say not a documentary. So I'm going to go first and say...
Why is that an easy answer?
Yeah.
Because that's like the cop-out
easy
answer.
answer, guys. You know this in 2 seconds.
I have to learn something? Screw that.
Yeah.
Sometimes documentaries are cool. That depends on the subject.
Exactly. I do watch documentaries. I like them better than most movies. But I'm going to say, for me, it's Cars. Like Gone in 60 Seconds. Hate it. Don't care. If it has cars in the title or cars like on the cover or like something, if the topic is car culture, I'm out. Don't care.
Do you like cars in real life?
I mean, I like to go from place to place.
You like transportation.
Yeah, I like the concept of transportation.
You singled out Gone in 60 Seconds, but none of like the Fast and Furious movies?
I think that's the one that just popped in my head first. Like I didn't.
All right, fair enough.
I think because recently, in this past weekend, we were talking about Nicolas Cage and his great number of films, and that one came up. But for me, I do not care for cars or car culture or any of that type of stuff. Not saying they're not good movies. I mean, what is there, 20 of those Fast and Furious movies?
Yeah, I stopped watching those.
And I heard they're very good. They're pretty much action movies, but I just don't care.
I've never seen a single one.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nicolas Cage, I just watched Family Man. That's a great...
That is a good one.
That's a great
Christmas movie.
Holiday movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, never saw it.
Never saw it. I don't even know what you're talking about.
There's his answer.
Doesn't exist.
Never saw it.
Never saw it. Okay, so how about Brian? You want to go? What is some category that you hate? That you're just like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah.
This immediately started laughing. The first thing that popped in my head was end of life dramas.
Oh my God.
No, but like the bucket list. Like I just don't it's
Like Grumpy Old Men.
Well, Grumpy Old Men's funny, but no, but I mean, like the movies like the bucket list where it's like, well, we're getting old, we better do something before we're dead. That's the whole theme of the movie, and it's just I don't care. Wait, what was that movie we watched with Joe Pesci and what's his fucking name? God, the other guy, that Lethal Weapon, who's not Mel Gibson.
Danny Glover.
Yeah, Danny Glover. Gone Fishing. Yeah, was that count as that type of movie? That's not. I mean, that's You probably want to end your life after watching that film. That was an interesting one. That's a different spot, but yeah, I don't know. Like
so like dramas about dying.
Well, no, like it's sad. I don't want to go sit in like you know. Okay. I don't want to sit in a theater for 2 hours and be sad.
Brian's sad. Gotcha. Brian don't like.
I don't like being sad.
No likey, Brian.
I want stuff blowy uppy.
Jordan, what about you?
I honestly think after watching this, because I know there's like this craze with the young adult stuff. Like,
that's a good point. Yeah,
and like a dystopian kind of future, like Divergence, Maze
Runner.
Yep.
Hunger Games.
Chris is cruising the young adult section,
and then this one I was like, I'm over. I don't like it anymore. But I usually like the futuristic kind of sci-fi, sometimes dystopian kind of thing. But like this whole thing, yuck.
Hey, give me 1 sec, gentlemen. I gotta change my fucking headphone.
He's like, I just shit my pants. Everybody pause.
Everyone pause for 1 second.
Hold the phone.
Boy, I wiped this slop out of here.
I gotta change my diaper.
I got the pull-up kind, though, so it'll go quicker.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, go give it to my dog now.
Old people dramas I just don't care about. Like fried green tomatoes.
Old people I just don't care about.
Yeah.
Driving Miss Daisy.
I think I have fried green tomatoes on my list.
Do you really?
I think so. Yeah.
Boy.
That like Steel Magnolias. I was
What's
get those
that one
two
movie?
confused.
Oh, that's
Beaches?
another one. Beaches. That's another one. With
Oh,
Barbara Hershey.
What about Cocoon?
That's
yeah.
kind of sci-fi-ish, I guess.
And sucks.
Same with batteries not included.
Anything with Barbara Streisand, I'm out.
Not a Streisand fan.
I missed what the hell you guys were talking about, but that's okay.
You shit in your pants.
Okay.
Jeff, what about you? What's a movie category you just check out? No way.
I don't know if it's a category, but it's
Topic.
like whenever I'm like watching a movie and whenever I'm watching a movie and there's not
Full
some
frontal nudity.
there's not some fantastical element in it when they're sort of implying there is one, and it ends up just being like, oh no, it's just like something stupid.
It was a dream.
And there's like, I fucking hate that because I am a sucker. I'm a sucker for like things with fantastical elements, right? We live in the real world. I like to escape that sometimes with movies. And if I'm in the mood for a movie that's going to deliver that, and I think it's going to deliver it, and then it doesn't, unless it's like really cleverly done, I'm like, this sucks. I hate it. I wish it was this, that, or the other thing.
What's a good example of that? Because there was something recently I think we talked about actually.
What's something you hate?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'm having a hard time thinking of one. There's like a lot of horror movies that'll do that though, and I like horror movies a lot, but a lot of them will be like, oh, she was just crazy, or like, like they were just inhaling gas or something.
Yes.
Like
They're just having some fun.
Yeah,
there's always like the in horror movies the bad guy's like super strong and they don't really explain, like he's almost like a superhero but they're like not really talking about why he's insanely strong.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I would much rather them not explain some things and leave it to the imagination versus like getting too in the weeds. Like, I went to the library and looked up an article and found all this stuff. And like, I would much rather like just stop treating the audience like we're idiots and just, hey, some things can't be explained and that's okay. And you might not know why, but maybe the sequel can tell us, stop trying to shove everything into the movie. I would much rather that. But yeah, that's my take.
So whenever they do the rug pull at the end where they're like, just kidding.
Kinda like maybe not necessarily at the end, but maybe just like maybe the previews kind of lead you to expect the dark. There was a movie, Brian, the long dark.
The longest dark, or you mean the one that the guy directed Green Room?
It had Skarsgård in it.
Yeah, it was the one where the guy's in the remote village trying to find those Skarsgård.
Because I thought it was going to be fantastical and it wasn't, so I hated that movie. There you go.
That was a weird one.
Okay.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be like some kind of monster, and there wasn't. It was
stupid.
stupid.
I hate that whenever there's not a monster.
Yeah. Like you're alluding to a monster
all along.
So there's a show called it was on Netflix or AMC, and they kind of do that too, where like the enemy or like the bad people in that almost have like they're almost like, oh yeah, they have some kind of superpowers, but they really don't. They're just crazy. And it's just like they still lead on with the entire time, and you're kind of like, is this like actual superpowers? Are they actually cursing these people or not? That it doesn't make any sense, but bad things keep happening. So
talking about Gilmore Girls?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Lorelai Gilmore and Rory Gilmore.
Wow, you know their names.
What's the theme song go like again?
We are the Gilmore Girls. We're Gilmore Girls.
I actually do know it. I can't remember it right now.
Really?
Yeah, because
Here I go.
Leah
On my
watched it all
own.
the time.
Yeah.
Here I go on my own. That's Whitesnake.
No.
Yeah. Here I go again.
On my own. That'd
I
be
might have to
amazing
check
intro.
out. Yeah, I might have to check out Gilmore Girls.
This
if that's what it
week
is.
on Gilmore Girls.
Going down the only road.
The thing I hate about Gilmore Girls is the grandpa was like an industrialist. I hate when people are industrialists. It doesn't really explain
Man.
anything. He's a super rich industrialist. What the hell does that even mean?
None of us
rich
watch
people?
Gilmore Girls, Chris.
Well, that's a
have.
common trope with rich people. They're like, oh, he's a wealthy industrialist.
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
Who? What? What does he industrialize?
He's a Fig Newton.
Anyway.
the creator of Fig Newtons.
Yep.
Frankie Fig.
Okay.
Frankie Figs.
Let's get into Mortal Engines. Let's do a recap. We're going to recap of Mortal Engines. Did you guys expect anything? This is something none of us ever saw. Were you expecting anything for this movie? I'm going to go to Jeff first. What were you expecting? Did you expect anything?
I expected another Jupiter Ascending based on your track record of these types of movies. So that's what I was going in expecting.
Me too. Same. Jordan, you're saying, Brian?
I knew what this movie was, but I never had seen it. But I knew it was also a box office bomb.
Yeah.
So I know it didn't do too well.
I did have a shed of light, or what would that be? Like
a shed of light?
You had a shed of light?
A shed light? You shed some light?
There's
an epiphany.
No, I saw that like Peter Jackson was attached to this. I was
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
maybe there might be like some kind of
Yes.
small thing here, like that would make it good, but just maybe misunderstood that people.
I think
like,
his wife did the screenplay with someone else.
So the people who wrote, so we'll get into the screenplay and everything, but for me, the reason I picked this movie is because the entire, I knew nothing about it other than it was a book series, young adult book series, but the entire thing about it was cities eating other cities. So I was like, awesome, let's watch that. Sounds terrible, but that concept sounded cool, but that's, as we'll get into, that's not what the show was about or the movie was about. Anyway, so Mortal Engines is a 2018 post-apocalyptic steampunk film directed by Christian Rivers. So this is a 2001 novel. The movie's based on a 2001 novel by Philip Reeve. He started writing in the 80s, and it didn't come out to 2001 for some reason. I guess he couldn't get it published, so kind of makes sense. Yeah. So it's also, if you notice that it's marketed from the filmmakers of Lord of the Rings, because it was written by the same people who wrote Peter Jackson's 2005 King Kong and Lord of the Rings, I guess partially.
I heard it was the effects person, not the writer or something.
No,
yeah,
the director was, right?
The director was, right. And he won an Emmy or something for King Kong.
For special effects.
Yes.
Which is much different than directing.
Right. But you could tell from the special effects in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the visuals in this movie, we can get into that, is like,
yes.
Yeah.
They look sick.
Saving grace.
They do, especially the whole opening sequence. But Jackson purchased the rights to this book in 2009, but it took to 2016 for them to be able to actually move forward with the screenplay. Yeah, so it didn't get released in 2018, but they started writing it in a lot of different. It got hung up in like development hell. Apparently, was what the
project couldn't get launched.
Right.
Failure to launch, not the film.
Right. So the entire purpose of the film, yeah, I think it's just because of like rewrites or like they couldn't get someone to like direct maybe or something like that. But I never saw that King Kong. I saw the Kong, the one with what's his name,
Skull Island.
Skull Island was fantastic.
Island, yes, that was awesome.
That's a great movie.
Awesome.
King Kong
wasn't bad.
I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't a fan.
At the time, it was. I haven't seen it in a long time, but
Skull
cool.
Island was awesome.
Skull Island was maybe my favorite of the newer MonsterVerse movies,
Yes.
and I really like the Godzillas too.
I love the Godzillas. The first Godzilla like reboot was awesome. We'll have to watch that 1999 one.
Oh, I hate you.
Jesus!
With all the eggs and stuff.
That's one of the worst films I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's horrible.
Anyway,
Soundtrack was something though.
Was it?
Come with me.
It wasn't P. Diddy. Didn't P.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah, you love that soundtrack, huh?
Was POD on that soundtrack?
They were on a lot of soundtracks.
Disturbed. Anyway. So the film is set on Earth in a world where cities have been mounted on wheels and motorized. This is called municipal Darwinism. The opening scene is we have this I guess there's London is on wheels. It's wheeling around. It's one of the what do they call it? The like bigger cities. It's like one of the bigger ones that eats up all the little cities.
Is it a predator city?
What was the word they used?
I think they
It's
said
basically
Predator.
just like a monster city. It's like one of the biggest cities on wheels out
It's like
there.
an alpha city or something, like an alpha predator or something, whatever.
It's alpha, beta, meta, zeta.
Yes. And so there's a sequence in the beginning, opening of the movie where we see one of our main characters, Hester, wearing this red mask on her over her mouth, and she's running around in this city. And you can see that she's looking for something or something's going on. She's interested in something. But anyway, there's a mining town where people are kind of like a town center. They're all kind of trading with each other. And this leads to, it keeps cutting back and forth between London, who's like this monster city, and these smaller cities. As soon as this happens, like London comes up on the smaller cities and begins to like prepare to eat them, I guess, to swallow
Devour
the cities.
them. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And so all these little cities, this town like breaks up into 3 or 4 different cities and kind of like takes off in different directions, which is funny because one of them's like the one Hester's on can't get started, can't start their engines. And so this, when I saw this sequence, I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is going to be a great movie now because the special effects are amazing.
It was cool, yeah.
Yeah, and it really showed because of his visual design, like the director's a visual designer. But I also realized that this movie probably cost a crap ton of money because of this opening scene. The budget for this movie was 100 to 150 million, but only box office was 83 million.
That's not even counting like the other advertisement, like on top of it, like probably 100 million more.
Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
But I was also thinking at this point that the author is so hard for steampunk, and he was like, "I love steampunk. Yeah. I want to figure out a way to make a steampunk book, so I'm just gonna start with steampunk and try to wrap a story around it."
Apparently, the books are more steampunk than the actual movie was.
Even like all the imagery you see from the books and everything, it seems like it's mostly steampunk and
like a lot more in depth. Yeah, there's a lot more detail to the books.
But also, you could tell as the movie went on, he was really in love with Dune. I guess if you're writing this in the 80s, Dune was pretty much everywhere. So that makes sense.
True.
All right, so we're introduced to Hester Shaw. She's a young woman. She has a scar across her face. We'll get into later. But she, as her small town gets devoured after this chase scene through these, like, I guess it's just like they call it the hunting ground, which is just this flat landscape. I guess it's like really convenient that it's flat so all these cities can drive around. And we also meet Tom, who is...
He's like a museum curator, right?
Yeah, he's like sucks.
Historian.
He's a bumbling idiot, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, but he's also works for they're kind of collecting all these parts from the old city, or the ancient times they call it. Right. Which apparently was 1,000 years prior to this, or
yeah, I think it says 1,000. Yeah,
1,000 years. But what they said was 1,000 years prior to that was 2114 or something. So yeah, so it was 1,000 years from now, but like 1,000 years into the future when that happened, when this movie takes place.
The 60-minute war is pretty much what ravaged everything around.
Yes, and this is when we get into Tom talks about the 60-minute war and how he's collecting these parts from the old world that they're finding, and he's like captured a bunch of military. He kind of shows off this military stuff that he finds to another character. Her name is Kate?
Catherine,
sorry. Yeah,
that's the daughter of the main character, right? Or the main
Hugo
protagonist.
I will say the best part of this whole movie, actually the only good part, was when they show the minions in the museum.
Yes.
The minions.
That's funny.
Yeah. So Catherine walks into this is in London. There's a museum in London.
This is as the London's like is going after the smaller town trying to devour it. So like people are going about their lives. Other people are cheering while this is going on.
Watching it happen.
Yeah.
They're
eat that town.
And I just want to point out one thing. The museum curator guy that was also with Tom that had like the really thin glasses on. That guy was from Resident Evil. He got sliced up by the laser.
Wow.
Wow.
It took me a second, but I was like, I know that guy from somewhere. And that's where that actor's been in obviously other movies, but if you've seen Resident Evil and you've seen the man sliced apart by the laser hallway, that's the same gentleman.
Wow. That was like when that movie came out, that was like the movie. That was like the scene that they kept on showing in the previews.
It's because it's the only good part of that movie.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
There's like 10 of those movies.
10 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There's that one we went and saw in the theaters, Jeff, where the lady like put, I think Alice or whatever her name was, put like coins in her shotgun and shot the one enemy in the face with it. Remember?
No.
It was like the only
Mila Jovovich or whatever.
Yeah.
I just blocked those all out, man.
That was the only action in the entire movie. So as London is devouring the smaller city. We introduce to Tom and Catherine, who are both main characters. They are talking about the stuff he's collecting. And as London devours the smaller city, Hester gets into London, gains access to London for some reason. We still don't know why. But what they really point out here is that, like, this is what I was looking and be like waiting to see. Like, are they just going to eat all these people too? Like, what happens? And they actually do take the people into the town, which is, I guess, nice. But
yeah, so that's the wrong verb, devour. They basically just pick them up.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, we're going to
Yeah, but don't they crush the other cities?
Well, we're going to like steal all your stuff, but then you guys can come live here and like work for us.
So they're going to use the city as power to their city.
It's colonization, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is a class system there.
Yeah, for sure. There's a whole message there. Yeah.
The levels of the London is set up that way. With the top is St. Paul's Cathedral, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only building that made it past the 60-minute war or something. The only one.
The only surviving building.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the old time.
It's become like their remaining sign of like their power.
Yeah.
This is London.
Hello.
Tom and Catherine go down. Once the city gets captured, they go down to find stuff. Basically, that he collects old things. And as Jordan said, there's at one point, I guess because the city jostles around a lot, these minion characters get knocked over, and they're like, it's such a stupid thing that they're like, hey, look, these minion characters.
Yeah, it was their prized possession they got from America. Yeah.
Which historic stuff, yeah.
I was like, who the hell made this? And it was the people that make that movie, so it makes sense. They go down to where the basically that town is getting chopped up with all these saws. Really awesome sequence of the saws and like destroying this town, cutting it up, and they're looking for parts. Tom has this thing where he finds like a toaster. He's really into toasters.
Well, he's like, hey, this is this model. The guy was going to throw it out. Yeah.
From the ancient times.
He's like, oh, I love toast. I love toast.
Hester gets in. We see her sneaking around. Somehow she sneaks a knife past the people that are checking the others in. Hugo comes down.
Wait. Can we just pause there? Because like that guy just doesn't check her.
Not
she
look.
just like opens up her jacket, closes it, and that's it. And the other guy got like patted down. Like
even
dumb.
She seems kind of like bewildered by it or stunned by it. You see that? Like she's like, "Whoa, I can't believe I got away with that."
Yeah. Oh.
So Hugo comes on. He's the one that's kind of like he was the one controlling in the control tower, driving the city into the other city. He's like in charge of that. But there's also another guy that comes in, like his superior.
Is that the bald guy?
Yeah, like the old guy.
He's like the bald chancellor, I would call him. If anything.
Like above Hugo.
Yes.
Yeah, he's Greyjoy.
There you go.
He's great. Yeah, he's the
guy that played. Yeah.
Whatever his name was in the Game of Thrones.
Hugo comes down. He tells the grunts to stop beating up the newcomers, and you could tell right then, like Tom has like gets really into him. He's like he likes him or like looks up to him, and he says, "Oh, I read all your books and everything." So he's enamored by Hugo. Catherine's obviously his daughter.
Hugo is the actor's name. The guy's character's name is Thaddeus.
Thaddeus, thank you.
Yes, not Agent Smith.
Thaddeus Valentine, played by Hugo Weaving. Yep.
Because there's posters all around the city about him. Thaddeus. So anyway, Thaddeus, thank you, Jeff, is kind of known as there's Thaddeus Valentine. Right in my notes. He is some kind of head of engineering league or something in the city. But anyway, we'll get into that. Oh, he's head of the Guild of Historians. Sorry.
Head of slick back hair.
Yes. Rad hair.
Has he ever not been a villain in a movie other than like Lord of the Rings?
He was in V for Vendetta. He was a good guy.
He was V, yeah.
Yeah, but was he the
He's
good
a
guy?
villain of like the government in that, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
Technically.
Depending what side you're on, Jordan, what side you support.
Right. Oh.
Moving on.
Everybody pause.
Everybody in chat, tell us which side you were on in V for Vendetta.
Yeah, leave it in the comments.
In chat.
Okay. So anyway.
That movie. Yeah, that was great.
That's a good movie. I actually saw that one. Anyway, Hester tries to assassinate Thaddeus, but Tom stops her. She does stab him once. Tom stops her with a second follow-up, maybe the kill shot, and then she takes off. Tom runs after her, and they go through this whole thing where they basically run through the old city that's being chopped up. She escapes the guard and she runs to this old city getting chopped up. That's like a really awesome sequence. Again, it seems like they blew their entire load of money for special effects right at the beginning.
All the action sequences in this movie are great.
I thought it looked terrible.
What?
Huh?
I really thought it looked terrible. It looks silly. Like, oh, there's some massive chainsaws coming through.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's
see that.
dumb.
It took, I got a fun fact. The film's visual effects took over 2,000 visual artists to create. Damn. Particularly the moving cities were like a big feat.
And then 2,000 people cried when they saw the box office return.
Again, the visuals are really awesome. The way the cities move and kind of undulate and move around when they're like just cruising around on the wasteland or whatever. It's really cool.
If I'm going to criticize the look at all, it's going to be that it had like that like fake grime going on. Like everything was almost too new, all the costumes and everything. Yep. Like
it also didn't seem like it. Like I kept having to remind myself that it came out in 2018. I would have thought this came out in like mid 2000s for some reason.
Oh wow!
You thought the visuals that bad?
Jeez, just like the. I don't know.
Where did you watch this at, Jordan?
He was watching it through
some goggles,
through a shower,
kaleidoscope,
a shower.
He ran Blockbuster.
Viewmaster.
He got the VHS copy.
No, just like the whole premise is just like that's something that came out like early mid 2000s. Like just,
the book,
silliness of it,
yeah.
But like
the vibe of it for sure.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
I got you.
So anyway, Hester and Tom get to the end of it's like I guess that's the butthole of the city where all the waste gets shot out, and obviously she jumps off. She gets her face mask taken off. There is some kind of a look between her and Thaddeus whenever she does stab him, and you're kind of like, oh, here we go.
Well, she's like, you killed this person, you know.
Thaddeus apparently killed her mother.
I will say this. I did see a lot of similarities between Star Wars and this movie.
Oh my God, yes.
Just because, that like, there's a scene later on where she finds out who Thaddeus was. Scene right here where Luke falls through the trash, or not the trash. Like in Star Wars, he falls off after getting his hand cut off through like the. I don't know. He falls.
Oh, and that big.
He finds out who his dad is, and then when Tom later on goes
the trench run.
Does a trench run thing basically and just blows up.
Oh wow, that's a good point, dude. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I was just like,
I definitely thought of that. Yeah, the trench run was
very obvious. Yeah. That's I didn't realize. I guess there's other more similarities I didn't really pick up Jordan until later, but yeah, there was a lot of weirdly. I don't know why they would go that route, but
like you said, Chris, this was written in the '80s, so it makes sense if that's like was actually part of it, maybe.
But actually, if you look at the story of the book, one of the reasons why people didn't like this movie, it got bad reviews, is because the book story is like completely different. Like Thaddeus is actually like a good guy at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would make me hate it if I read it.
Catherine and him, like, they like find out what's going on with that main guy, the Chancellor guy, and he's the one running the show. And then he like changes sides.
Is the Medusa thing part of the book? Do you know?
I don't know that part. I just found out like I was reading why people hated this movie, why they got reviews, and that's why. It's like the story was completely different. Like they just like kind of chopped up the story in weird ways. There's other weird things like with Tom and everything that like it doesn't really make sense.
Like there's like a whole backstory with like his parents. Like how do they die? Did they ever go into that?
He does say that his parents died.
He mentions it, but I don't think they go into detail about it.
I think they were pilots. I think
it was smallpox. They said.
Yeah, the 2248 smallpox. Yeah.
It's COVID.
A big building ran him over.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tom and Hester basically jumps in the butthole part, shoots out the bottom.
They get spit out the butthole, yeah.
Yes, and then Tom turns around and Thaddeus walks in. She told him kind of what Thaddeus is doing, and that's why she was there trying to kill him. And then he turns around and Thaddeus is there. Thaddeus backstabs him and pushes him off the into the butthole as well.
Yeah, he basically he confirms that Tom heard what she was saying, and he was like, "Oh, it's too bad," and then kicks him off.
So that Thaddeus is actually a bad guy, and he stole things. And you find out more as his character gets more developed. Tom gets knocked off. He gets kicked off the edge of the platform. Thaddeus turns around. Catherine and other people come running in. he says, "Oh, Tom fell. I tried to save him." Catherine notices another guy up in the rafters who we meet earlier, but kind of secondary character. I think his name's Beavis.
He's a buddy of Tom. He's like a mechanic.
Yeah,
he has the dumbest hair in the whole film.
He kind of looks like an idiot just when you first see him.
He looks like an idiot.
I mean,
he's got a real idiot look on his face.
Like the lights are on, but no one's driving, you know?
Catherine notices that he's up in the rafters and he saw the whole situation. So she goes and eventually we find out they meet and talk about what actually happened.
I think it's worth noting that Catherine has a huge boner for Tom, too.
You think?
Does she?
What? Dude, definitely.
They were like being like chummy during the first part of the
but then it just kind of goes away.
Yeah, and then it just drops, which surprised me because I thought there was going to be some kind of like development or clash there.
Yeah.
But then nothing happened.
But then Tom leans more towards Hester.
Right, which is developed later. But I'm saying, like, I was expecting there would be a conflict there, and that's never happened.
Right.
But
And I think whenever they fall through that butthole thing in the city,
yeah,
there's a flashback with Hester running through a field with her face all jacked up, like cut.
As a kid, yeah.
Yeah, and you notice, like, okay, there's something to do with her, Thaddeus, the cut on her face, her mother, and so you kind of realize that there's something going on there. There's also an issue, which we didn't mention, that there's this third guy who kind of sees Catherine and Tom talking about his military hardware he's hiding that he wants to give away or something. And so that guy's kind of just the biggest turd you've ever met or seen in your life.
That scene made me so mad because he just like opens it up and he's just like the guy's clearly just looking through like the window.
Yeah,
on the
he
other side.
He like huffs on it and like wipes with his arm.
Yeah.
Like,
Let me get a better look here.
Yeah, no one sees that.
This is very secret. We hide this. I'm going to just show you.
So Catherine knows it there, which is then used later whenever she goes and looks for it. But Tom wakes up in the, I guess they call it what's it called again? The hunting grounds.
Just the big open area.
Yeah, so he's laying in the tracks of the city that drove by.
Right.
Hester's there. I think this is such a weird relationship between those two as they're going through. She kind of like robs him. And then she's like, you can come if you want. Because he's like, don't leave me here. And she's like, you can come if you want. And then they walk off.
She gives him a Twinkie, which they call an Inky, which is
Inkies.
It infuriates me.
Would you like an Inky?
It's a Twinkie.
I was going to say, there's that dynamic where it's like you just said, like she robs him at first, but then you see that she feels bad for him, that she doesn't want to leave him, but it happens so quickly that it just like, it keeps going. It ping pongs throughout the entire movie until later. Until they develop a relationship, you know?
She also thought he was dead when she was just looting his body, you know? Like, and then he wakes up and is like,
I guess she was a little startled, yeah.
I think it's weird they let him just go out. I guess I figured, like, Thaddeus just let him go. And they're like, oh, I'll push. Instead of, like, killing him, they're like, oh, just let him go.
I mean, it's kind of like they just assume he's dead because he's out
they assume
there,
both of them are dead because they're kicking him out the bottom of that butthole of that monster machine.
Which is just a slide, too. It's not even like it's a drop.
It's like those water slides that you just spin around.
Yeah.
And just get shot
the ones
end.
you finally get, loopholed down into, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like, here, take a ride, bud.
I was actually really excited about this part because I was like, oh, they're going to show what it's like outside of these mobile cities. Right, they didn't really,
right.
I kind of wish they expanded more on what that would look like, but I guess it would look like nothing because there's really nothing out there. But
right, it's almost like they wanted to be like the Wild West kind of era of like these like these cities just riding around. There's like,
but let me ask you this: did they ever actually explain why they put the cities on wheels?
No.
Yeah, they maybe they did.
Not really.
Because just think about this for a sec, guys. Okay, let's say that all the world's resources were destroyed in this 60-minute war. Okay, and they built these. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What did you say, Chris?
The war. Not only the war destroyed everything, it changed the actual Earth's crust. It jacked up the Earth's crust, and so all the cities, like everything, got moved around, and that's why.
Okay.
That's why you can, like, they said, like, we're going to Antarctica, and, like, it's why the things are kind of touching it now. They could drive a city from Europe to America.
But, like...
Why drive them?
Exactly. That's my point. It's like, you built this city on fucking wheels. Why didn't you just build it on the ground next to you?
I think
like,
they
why?
said it was. I think the Earth was like it was unstable too. Like there were just too many earthquakes and and
so they just have to keep driving them,
right? Because you couldn't build something; it would just get destroyed. Because after that war,
was the Earth's crust not the same? Maybe that's why they keep it like.
I don't.
That Earth's crust got messed up, and so I think that was like
But if you have to keep moving, all right, I won't hold on to this too long. But like, if you have to keep moving the cities, clearly the ground can hold these fucking wheels with all this weight of these cities. So why wouldn't you just build a city on the ground after you figured it out?
But wait a second, that kind of like blows up the entire thing because the city wall, the walled city that they're.
I don't know, man. I didn't write it.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah. I don't think they really go into it. I think I read about it, though, afterwards.
I'm sure there's an explanation for it, but I don't think they get into the film too clearly about it.
Yeah. Because then Thaddeus he's really mad at the wall people for some reason. They don't really go into that either.
Well, because he said, he thinks that they're keeping resources that everyone needs because.
Right, and he believes in the mobile Darwinism thing, the municipal Darwinism. Yeah. He believes in that way of life, which is silly.
Survival of the fittest city.
Right.
Which, I mean, I guess that they're going for like this like religious doctrine way of thinking of like this way of life. We have to be on a city on wheels versus like a walled city. I guess that makes sense. Just not explained very clearly. That's all.
No.
So Tom and Hester are out there walking around. They're going somewhere to another, what they call it, a scab town or something, out in the wasteland. We have this scene with them where Hester just got screwed over by Tom, but she's like still being nice to him for some reason. She like spent her entire life trying to get back her mom, and then Tom jacks it off, but she's still gonna like allow him to like I don't know. It just
she likes him,
but like they just met.
Yeah, but there's a twinkle in his eye.
Gotcha.
And there's an inky in her eye.
Oh, there's a bulge, in his crotch.
Twinkle in his thighs.
Inky in his pocket.
Betwixt his thighs.
Betwixt.
They are out in the wilderness trying to survive. All of a sudden, some other cities show up and try to get them, which is crazy. I think he was up there yelling about something. He saw cities in the distance. He was yelling.
He thought he could get some help.
Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't really understand living on the wasteland and how it works out there. So
yeah. Kester was like, "We never go south," and he was like, "Oh, they're the Southerners," and they're basically like it's almost like Mad Max type
scavengers,
house.
Right?
Yeah.
Mad Max outside. So these other cities start chasing them, and they were getting shot by these harpoons. Hester gets hit by one and kind of nicks her leg, and then she's not able to do anything. Then Tom has to step in and help her now. At some point, they fall through a hole into another mobile town. It's like a mobile town. It's like a truck, like a mobile.
Yeah, what was that thing called?
Armadillo.
It was called like a Rambler or I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. It's ran by a husband and a wife who basically like it's kind of an underground. It looks kind of like
it's camoed,
a centipede or something like that, or millipede. Yeah. And anyway, they fall into this thing. These two old people down there, and they think like, oh, these people are gonna help us, and they do kind of help them, except then they sell them to slaves. Yeah.
It was a trick.
Did the scaling ever seem off to you guys with this stuff? Like city wise versus like people wise? Like there's times like the scaling just seemed weird.
Yes.
Oh, you mean like as far as like just when they do different shots of like the cities versus yeah. There's definitely scenes like that where it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it was like that kind of grinding my gears. Get it?
I get it.
Yeah.
Laid your foundation.
So they are outside. They get caught by the scavengers. They get sold to us basically like a slave auction type of thing to a bunch of scavengers that look like they're right out of every episode of any rendition of what's that movie you just said? Mad Max or Waterworld type of people.
It almost seems like a town in Fallout even at this point.
Yes.
Australians and New Zealand people are just like filthy and dirt.
Wow.
Well, I'm just saying the people in this thing, this crowd.
Did you guys get a view of that guy, the auctioneer's? His coat. It's all buttons.
Benjamin Buttons.
It looks ridiculous.
Mr. Buttons, I presume.
Did she tell
Bobby Buttons?
Did she tell him her what's her name again?
Hester.
Did Hester tell the Johnny
Tom
her background story yet? I know she kept like alluding to it.
he gave his background story a little bit, and she's like, I don't want to tell you
right,
background
okay,
yet.
right. Okay.
She hasn't warmed up to him yet.
Got it.
Right. I think at this point, though, before they get sold in the auction, there's a scene where Thaddeus goes down to like a water-based, like kind of like a buggy, like a spider town where they're holding some type of robot or something in this box. Yeah. So this is known as a stalker, and everybody's like, oh no. Apparently, there's this group of robots that were invented that are like unkillable. They're called stalkers. They're also called the Lazarus group or something.
Lazarus,
yeah, the resurrected.
They're resurrected. They were soldiers that were resurrected for the war, and he's the only surviving one left.
Not for the 60-minute war though, just other wars.
No, just other wars.
They were just made to be like killing
undead
machines,
soldiers.
They're kind of like Terminators. I thought this was the coolest part, honestly, those guys.
So Thaddeus finds that this robot whose green eyes is being held by these scavengers. He then it's really cool the way they have it held in like this steel box out in this ledge above the ocean, which is just a really cool scene. Again, the visual effects are amazing in this show or this movie. Thaddeus is like, "Oh, you've got one. You know, how much do you want for it?" And he says, "Oh, this much, whatever." It seems like it's going to be a very hefty price. Thaddeus gets in his ship. They shoot the city's legs out. It falls into the ocean, and then the stalker gets free. And he's talking about going after Hester Shaw. So now we enter in this other.
He specifically knew that one was going to go after Hester.
Right.
Though. I forget.
He talked to him. No, he talked to him in the cage.
Yeah, but that's why he went to that one though, because he was saying Hester, like they kind of knew.
Yeah, Thaddeus is like one of his like the lady he was talking to about
some giving him info.
Yeah, he showed her that this like core thing that he got or whatever it's called, and she's like, "Hey, by the way, there's something hunting Hester." And he's locked up. He keeps saying her name and pounding on the walls. That's all he says.
We go.
So
okay.
There's a screaming robot and a.
So he went there. He's like, "Why do you want this girl?" He's like, "Because." And
she broke her promise.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So his name was Shrike.
Shrike.
Yep.
It's not Strike. It's Shrike, which is it sounds like Shrike when she says it. But
it's
anyway,
like Shriek, but Shrike.
Yes. So anyway, he gets out. He's obviously looking for Hester. So he's going to go off and get Hester, which adds another like kind of side to this whole thing, which kind of again very cool, interesting kind of side to this. We cut to them at the auction again. They're getting auctioned off. This other character shows up. Her name is Anna Fang.
Oh,
Anna
and
Fang.
the red, yeah.
Yes.
Lady in red.
This is totally where I was like, this sucks. This person sucks.
They mentioned her briefly earlier.
Yes, they do. There's signs of her, like wanted signs in London.
You keep seeing wanted signs. She looks, if you're familiar, if you like anime and you're listening to this, she looks straight out of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yep.
She also looks like she came out of the Matrix.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Exact same thing. Yes, Matrix.
Yeah.
So this is Anna Fang. She's part of the Anti-Traction League, which is basically a league against attraction cities with the cities they're driving around. So we get another side of this war where there's this
they're
other
like the
group.
rebel side.
Yes.
In your Star Wars analogy.
Correct.
And I mean, London was part of the British Empire.
People in the Death Star had British accents.
They were part of the Empire.
Come on.
They're British people. Yeah.
British people in the Death Star.
Anna does explain at some point, she tells Tom that the Anti-Traction League's mission is to stop municipal Darwinism and protect static settlements. So I think there's no really history between Anna and Hester at this point. She just shows up, starts killing everybody in the auction.
Right. She knew her mom, we find out later.
Yeah.
Right. After the fact, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, she frees them.
She frees them. They get on her ship. They're going to take off, her flying ship, which now we know there's flying ships apparently. And then Shrike.
Airships.
Yeah, airships. Shrike shows up. Very, very steampunk flying ship, airships.
Chris, what does Shrike say for most of the film? If he has one line he would utter out,
Hester?
what is it? Yeah, but what does it sound like when he says it? You hear that for about an hour of this film.
Yep. And we find out why later, which is really, really nice little arc to that whole thing. Yeah. The ending sucked.
I got something to say about that whole thing, but we'll get to it.
Yes. So Shrike comes out, tries to stop them from getting away. Hester realizes who it is. She's still hurt, so she's kind of hobbling around. There's a scene where Shrike's trying to pull down their airship as it's trying to take off.
With the rope, yeah.
Anna Fang is telling her just cut the rope, let Tom fall. Hester can't. Stupidest scene ever, where she drops a knife down.
That was, yeah.
And then all of a sudden what if Tom didn't grab it? It's so dumb.
He would have been dead. Well, they all would have been dead.
They would have been dead, yeah.
Also, there's no way he cuts that and hangs on after the tension like flies off. I mean, suspend disbelief. It's clearly all fake, but
the tension cuts his body in half.
Also, hilariously, like if Anna Fang just waited like a second, he could have just gone on and they could have avoided even being caught by Shrike. So
she didn't like him at the time.
Well, she was there just to save. She was just there to complete her promise again, as we find out, for taking care of Hester after Hester's mom died.
The end.
We find out that Hester her mother was an archaeologist. Pandora. What was Hester's last name again? Shaw. So Pandora Shaw. Her mother was an archaeologist. Found something. Thaddeus shows up. We have a snap back to
flashback.
Thank you. We have flashback to whenever Hester and her mother are in. They're kind of digging up stuff from at an archaeological dig or something.
Dig site, yeah.
And Thaddeus shows up and he's kind of like, oh, hi. It's kind of like this, oh, great to see you guys. He kind of just appears out of nowhere, lands a ship, hangs out with him for a little bit. And that's where you get the scene where Hester sees her mother has some type of device, finds some type of device. And this is something that leads into like the main weapon, whatever you call it, of this entire movie, which is the Medusa.
Also, like, her mom has some kind of relationship with this guy too.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, he's hanging out. Thaddeus is hanging out with them.
They're co-workers.
Staying with them.
For now.
Right.
Well, you do find out what their relationship
eventually
is
they
later.
do reveal. Yeah.
She has this thing it's called the Medusa. It's kind of a soup. It's the weapon that started the 60-minute war and ended the war. It was the weapon that humans invented and destroyed everything.
Yeah, it's like some kind of like energy microwave weapon or something like that.
Yeah, they describe it as a dark energy weapon or something that's able
quantum
to.
In there somewhere or something like that.
Yeah, quantum dark energy weapon.
Air fryer weapon.
So Tom at this point finds out that Thaddeus kills Hester's mom because she won't give up the Medusa weapon, which is just the control panel for it, the way to control the weapon, which seems insane that they're basically building it they're basically building a replica of the Medusa weapon, but they need this computer to
it's like the brain of it, essentially.
Right.
But there were a bunch back in the day, so it's not that crazy that they would find like one.
They were trying to rebuild it from all the old parts that they could find. Yeah.
Yes. So you find out that he is building some type of weapon up in St. Paul's Cathedral on the very top of London. He takes the weapon. She tries to stop him. Pandora tries to stop him. She gets stabbed.
This is all in the flashback still.
Right. So we're still in the flashback. Hester jumps on his back as he's stabbing her mother or killing her mother. He then turns around and actually stabs her in the face or cuts her face real bad. That's how she gets the mark on her face, the scar.
Yeah.
And then she runs off into the woods. And you find out that he just takes the weapon and leaves and burns the house down. She eventually gets picked up by Shrike. And that's their relationship. Shrike takes a pity on her. And we also see at one point when he picks her up, she has this necklace that falls off of her and he grabs it. And it's this eyeball thing.
Right.
Which her mother gave her when she ran out, said, take care of this, keep us with you or whatever.
Shrike picks her up because she explains that Shrike likes to collect things that are like broken and lost and discarded.
Yeah, so she gets raised by Shrike, and he just puts together like dolls and stuff.
He builds
assembles things.
Older
builds dolls.
Yeah, I mean that's all it is. She's putting like heads away at one point, and
he licks them. No, but he just collects like old like figures and toys and stuff and then he essentially like they become friends, or well, not I wouldn't say friends, but they rely on each other. But then he sees that she's sad, so that the only way that he can solve it is to build her into like turn her into what he is.
Right.
Essentially kill her.
Get rid of her sadness.
Right. Get rid of her sadness and become like him. And she doesn't want that to happen.
And we talked about the resurrected guys, like they used to be human. So it's almost like
they allude to that in that whole sequence too.
Yeah, it's almost like Shrike still has feelings. They're just really buried. And there's this picture of a guy with a kid, and Hester's like, oh, like kind of puts it together that he at one point had a child in his life, and that might be why he's taking care of Hester too, right? To kind of,
that's the,
maybe he's feeling that again.
That's the general from Avatar, by the way, in the photo, and it plays Shrike in the CG form. So there you go.
Again, I think this Shrike in general was a really rad character, although his ending sucked. But he, it could have made the whole movie like about that whole arc.
Yeah, Shrike was sick.
It was just trying to put too many eggs into one basket. I feel like, like it just like there was a lot of great material there that they used. I mean, they could have used, but they just tried to fit it all into a 2-hour movie, and it just didn't work.
We can mention that like they expected this to be like a series of movies, and
right, they wanted to build on it, but even then, like they didn't like flesh it out well enough to like build upon a whole like trilogy or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know why like they would have written it this way though.
That's what I'm saying. Sense. Like if they were trying to build future films on this, why would you try to mash it all in? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Especially
because they deviated so far away from the actual source material. Right. So you also notice with that picture with Shrike and his kid that Hester finds at some point while she's growing up, that there's a lot of red being used. Like the kid was wearing a red hat, she was wearing a red face mask. At some point, like red is like a really weird
hair.
thing.
Yeah.
There's like another red thing later on, like a red scarf somewhere, but like I don't know what the deal is with the red stuff. Oh, Hannah Fang is all wearing red. Her ship's red.
Oh yeah, the airship balloon was red.
I think Anna Fang was the worst character ever.
She, there was just nothing there. I mean, just like,
Yeah, just like throughout her backstory, she's like, I was a slave once, not anymore. And that was it.
And they're gonna spread me to the
so tough.
When she dies, she wants to be spread to the wind, so she's never a slave again or something.
Yeah, what do they call her? Wind bloom or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, by the time you get to those characters, you're just like, I don't care about you.
I don't care about any of these characters.
Can we just see something blow up again, please?
So they take her and Tom and Hester. Hannah takes her to this floating city, which is, again, really awesome effects. This city, it's all kind of hobbled together by a bunch of other airships kind of floating there. They pull up. I think it's really interesting. They had this like sign that they pointed out in the movie, like no flames, no this, no that, no that, because like obviously they're in a floating city. And this is when you kind of get introduced to the Anti-Traction League, which is part of the Great Walled City, or a group associated with the Great Walled City, which is what they call it Shangao, which is what they call it in the movie. But in the books, it's like something completely different. They changed the name completely for some reason. I don't know why.
Airland.
Yeah, I don't know why. They call it
Wall Place.
And this is the group that Thaddeus is trying to fight against. He wants to get through the walled city because apparently there's a bunch of resources, as you guys said, on the other side of the walled city. And there's this giant wall that's very well fortified, and that's who Anna Fang comes from. She was in that group. So they're on this floating city. They're getting their fellowship together of all these other guys. You have all these like really just the stupidest bunch of buttholes I've ever seen in a movie. Like,
it's like generic Matrix like leftovers.
Niles. Different language you're speaking.
But every single person they walk by that's like a main character in this group, he's like, they all have these like evil eyes, like they don't trust anybody. So we're going to stare at everybody. And their camera sits on their face for a while when anybody walks by, like the main characters walk by. When Hester and Tom walk by, these guys are like, oh, and they just look at him, stare him down. It's really stupid that everybody's just so standoffish, I guess, for whatever. So they're going to like figure out how are we going to stop Thaddeus, who they find out. Tom tells them, hey, Thaddeus has like a plan to do something. And I think, is this point where Hester says that they have this device that's the Medusa weapon in London?
I forget.
Because while this is going on, Catherine and that other random dude like end up in St. Paul's by going through the museum, which has a way to get up to the St. Paul.
Right.
And they see what's going on, and like Thaddeus overthrows the mayor,
the chancellor guy, with like the
they
stupidest
keep
gun I've ever
bouncing
seen.
back and forth in the movie between them progressing on Thaddeus to see what his true plot is, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah. So Catherine, his daughter, and this other guy are kind of going through the city trying to figure out what's going on with Thaddeus, what he's doing, because they know something's up. So they find out Medusa is this weapon. Tom tells the guys in the airship, all these the Anna Fang's group, like, oh, you know, there's this, they're doing something. There's a weapon. And Medusa, if they got this device that Hester says she saw whenever she was younger with this logo on it that Tom keeps seeing, he saw the logo and he's like, what the hell is that? And he brings it all, the whole story together.
Logo.
He brings it all together and he's like, this is what happened. So then they're told that like, hey, London's on its way to the wall. Like things are going down at the wall. They're like making their way that way. So that's kind of puts the arc together of what's going to happen. That Thaddeus has this weapon. They've been building it. It's going to destroy the wall. And then Shrike shows up in a floating city.
Promise.
Yeah, like how did he get there?
I think they showed it, didn't they?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't
when they
remember.
took off from that auction place, he's looked up and saw like the airship. So I'm assuming that's how he got there.
He found like another like bootleg ride, yeah.
But like the whole thing with him, like the promise thing, just seemed dumb to me.
He has no other purpose, yeah.
Man, yeah. So here, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that right now. So Hester essentially leaves because she found out Thaddeus was close enough that she could maybe get revenge. So
That's right.
she gave up on. She just left. She didn't say to Shrike. She could have easily just been like, "Hey, Shrike,
This is the
the guy who killed my mom is here. I'm gonna go kill him real quick." Also,
He probably would have helped.
She has a Terminator with her.
He would have
Like,
helped.
why would you not take the Terminator? That's like John Connor not using, Arnold Schwarzenegger in T2 to fight T1000. It's stupid. It's like, she could have just communicated that to him for 2 seconds and he wouldn't have been mad. Maybe he would have helped.
Teamed up.
Right. Maybe he would have just understood and stayed somewhere like that. And then he goes crazy, kills everyone on the ship, and then like forgives her at the end. It's so dumb.
So she promises to be turned into another monster,
Right.
into him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she takes off.
And then she left.
Yeah, it's because she finds out the London's really
she didn't want
close.
to die. Yeah.
No, she did though at first, but she wanted revenge, and then she
Right.
decided she didn't want to
Nothing
die.
to live for until
and then Shrike sees that she doesn't want to die anymore, and he says, "I release you from your promise."
Because she's in love with Tom.
Right,
you love dogs.
which happened really fast.
Well, it's like
2 days, maybe.
Jupiter ascending. The
Ugh.
same thing.
Classic
Yeah.
move.
Everybody falls in love in like a day in these young adult things.
In fantasy novels and sci-fi novels, people fall in love in 48 hours.
So Shrike dies from a broken heart, maybe?
His green stuff ran out.
He got stabbed. He got stabbed in the chest.
Oh yeah.
I thought his heart just started like the yellow thing in his heart started like
Well,
going.
that's because Fang used her knife blade to like stab him in the chest.
Oh, she slowly bled him out.
That knife thing was cool though when she
The
stabbed that guy in the head with
shoe
it.
knife or knife shoe thing.
So he was gonna kill Tom, and she was begging him not to kill her
Right.
or not to kill Tom.
Yeah, don't kill him. I need him.
Yeah, and his like heart breaks, and that's how he dies.
Well, he was stabbed in the heart.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be not like
This
you
was
can't
the
kill
final
him.
blow.
Like they're supposed to be indestructible. Tom said that the entire movie. There's no way to kill these things. They're indestructible.
I think the idea is that's where his core was, where his heart, like his whatever, like because he's clearly part computer. So I'm guessing like when Fang stabbed him there, that's where his like operating unit or whatever it would be for a cyborg is where his heart would have been if he was a human. But like she kicked him in the chest with her shoe knife thing, and clearly like in that shot when that happened, you could tell something like it hurt him. Actually hurt him. So then
it is electricity shooting.
Yeah, so
out
I think
of him.
he's in the process of already like dying at that point.
Going on the way out.
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
that coupled
but-
coupled with
But that was a stupid way to die of something they talk about how they're indestructible the entire episode.
maybe no
the
one's
entire
ever
movie.
tried to shoot him in the chest.
Clearly
before.
they were wrong.
Yeah,
I will say though, there was some cool fight scenes that he like choke slams a guy through the bottom of like the thing straight out into the.
Oh yeah, they drop into nothing. Yeah,
yeah. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, he was like the only saving grace of the entire movie, except for the opening.
I mean,
scene.
that and like some of the like the air, like the action sequences toward the end too, with like the air fights and stuff were kind of cool. But
yeah, Shrike was definitely my favorite part, even though his story didn't make a ton of sense.
When people started talking in this movie is when it started getting.
Yeah,
dialogue happened. It sucked.
So just watch it on mute, basically.
Yeah, or fast forward to the action sequences.
So now we're up to Shen Gao. They take off from the city that's falling out of the sky, that floating city. They all escape to Shen Gao, which is the big city, the big walled city that basically you find out what's behind it. It's like this real lush place. And you find out like Shen Gao, the wall itself is super heavily fortified. And they zoom in, like they kind of go through like the wall in front of it. Basically, it's a giant wall between two mountains. And you have all these dead like traction cities like in the right below it. And Thaddeus doesn't like that. He wants to take down the wall. For some reason, he just has a hate boner for the wall. So he does kind of make sense, like mention earlier, like, oh, we don't have enough materials, we don't have enough resources to actually keep the city moving for more than a week or two. So we have to go after the wall.
Yeah, and I think he's saying like they would do the same to us, blah blah blah. You know,
yeah.
Like.
But in any case, he gets Medusa up and running. They run back, tell the main guy, like, hey, Medusa's gonna shoot through the wall. They have this weapon. Is this the point where Hester finds the thumb drive that says was it say USA on it?
USA, yeah.
By the way, was it someone that said it, or was it the computer itself that said Medusa is live? It was like the weirdest thing. It's like this super gun that just turned on, and that was the voice that came out
Medusa of it. Is a doomsday ray from like comic books. It's like something Lex Luthor would make. It's cool.
All big and purple.
It looked awesome, yeah.
This necklace that we saw whenever her mom gave her.
The eyeball necklace, yeah.
Yeah, Shrike gives it back to her whenever he dies.
Yes.
And she then finds out, I think maybe Tom finds out or she finds out there's something in it. And Tom walks away because he's all mad that like, hey, we're going to do a preemptive strike. Shen Gao, that group, the anti-traction league, is going to do a preemptive strike on London and basically take out London before it has time to take them out.
He's freaking out because that's his home. He's like, those are innocent people.
There's good people there.
There's good people there, and so don't do that.
Meanwhile, they all like cheer for death constantly. So I don't know.
I mean, his friends at the museum. I'm guessing
his friends are there, his family's there, or well. No family.
There's like 3 good people there, man. You can't do that.
I think the really weird thing is this entire movie, they talk about him being a pilot. He was supposed to be a pilot before his parents got killed. And even Thaddeus mentions this, and before he became an historian or an archaeologist. And then they like, oh, you can fly. Like Anna Fang lets him fly. He's like, oh, you're a natural. And he's like, oh, I love flying and stuff like that. I think it's so dumb. And then he puts on that flight jacket.
You just have to assume that he's a ace crack at the controls.
An ace crack.
He's got an ace crack.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up crack.
Okay, so Hester was like this badass at the beginning of the movie, and then all of a sudden she turns into like just following Tom around like a little lost puppy. Like they do that thing with heroes where they like, you know, wound them so they can't be as powerful the entire movie, but then you find out she's just like a little lost lonely girl for some reason, which is really stupid.
They made Tom like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo at the start of this movie, and then by the end, he's like blowing people up. So it's like, yeah,
they flip-flopped him.
Yeah, it's really weird.
They flopped him.
They got flopped.
It's just as their entire air fleet takes off to go take out London, basically to stop them. London shows up, shoots Medusa, takes out half the city. Also, the weapon sucks in. It's kind of like that thing from Mass Effect. You guys play Mass Effect? That one spell. It sucks everything in. I think it does that in Destiny too.
Yeah, it does.
Sucks everything in, shoots everything out. So it's like a explosion, implosion, explosion again. So their entire Air Force basically gets taken out in one shot. But thankfully, Anna Fang and her ragtag group have a few ships left because Hester shows up with this thumb drive that is like the shutdown code. The only way to stop Medusa is a shutdown code.
It's the Deus Ex Machina of the film.
They call it the crash drive.
I hope to God someday we have one of those kind of thumb drives where like it pulls out and it like extends out really crazy like she had.
I also think it's funny that once again, like a flash drive is how someone's like stopping the thing. Yep. Like
stopping the
floppy disk, flash drive. It's always something like that.
Use a 3.5 floppy.
Yeah.
So they all jump aboard their last remaining ships, just like in Star Wars, take off, head for London. London makes another Medusa shot. And the thing is, Medusa has to power up each shot. So he's like, shoot it again, that typical scheme where like just the bad guy wants to keep using all of his power and eventually it's going to backfire because it's how it works.
He's power hungry.
Right. They shoot another attack on the tower, on the wall. Their ships somehow make it past the implosion thing. And then they start taking out the artillery on London, which is like loaded to the bone with artillery. Obviously, they take out it's like a trench run at this point. They get through the defenses by some of them die. The Anna Fang's love interest, the one guy who has like the long flowing hair, the real dreamboat guy, he crashes, but he's fine.
Which one's the dreamboat guy, Chris?
The one that Anna Fang is like swooning over the entire time, and they're making eyes against each other.
And they never show him again though either.
They just show him after the crash, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
That's it. You never see him
again.
I'm
good.
Yeah.
Have fun.
So they get in. Hester gets in. So like, Hester, you need to go take out this thing. There's a really stupid line that Anna says.
Oh, there was some one-liners in this.
Yeah. So bad.
She's like, wait for my signal. And Hester's like, how do I know it's your signal? And she's like, you'll know because I'm never silent or something stupid like that.
She's like, I go out with a bang or something. I don't know.
Yeah, real dumb. She's like, I'm never silent or whatever. Hester goes in. Anna Fang goes in from another side. Tom's in charge of the ship now. And there is this point where Hester gets in to the Medusa drive because Thaddeus is being Anna Fang and Thaddeus are fighting. It's the stupidest thing in the world where she sticks the thumb drive in and cannot push the buttons correctly or something.
But the code,
no, it like takes forever to register.
And the code's on the screen. They show the code. I'm like, what's happening? But they do show the code on the screen. But like, I don't know why it's like
it says push this button, idiot.
There's like a delay.
She keeps on tapping the buttons and it's not working. It's like not registering. It's so dumb. And when she slides the thumb drive in, do you catch what it says?
No, what?
Medusa.
Like the USA thumb drive connects with Medusa. It's like, you stupid assholes. I hate you.
So it's saying it's all America's
dumb.
fault.
Yeah.
We are at the final showdown where I think Anna Fang gets killed by Thaddeus. They fight. Anna Fang gets killed eventually. Medusa gets shut down, though, and is going to like blow up, I think. Hester then has to fight Thaddeus, kind of. He's going after her, and you find out that Thaddeus is Hester's dad.
Do they actually say it, though?
It's like heavily suggested.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think they actually say like, I'm your dad. It's just like...
You see them like sitting on a couch like hugging.
Yeah. I feel like they couldn't say it because like it'd be too much like Star Wars at that point.
But she even realizes it. She's like...
It was like PG-13. It was like a hard R before they cut it out.
I forgot that earlier when Catherine figured out what was going on, Thaddeus' daughter, she's like, he's not my dad anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And so he goes and kills he kills the Chancellor, but he goes and kills all the people driving the London, so they can't shut down the forward progress of the town. It keeps like they killed all
it's heading for the wall.
Correct. So it's going to just smash into the wall if they can't get the Medusa to shoot anymore. There's this whole showdown between Hester and Thaddeus, and Tom shows up and shoots some stuff with his plane. But anyway, Thaddeus gets killed. He jumps on another ship and tries to fly away, but the guy's dead.
They blast the ship.
The pilot's dead. He can't control it. He crashes, and he gets run over by the city. It's implied he gets run over by London.
If I had to guess, I would say he's not dead because we found out that he's Hester's dad here.
Yes.
And he gets a similar scar as her. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to scar him similarly and not have him come back as like, oh, look, edgelord, same scar guy. Like,
scar match.
Yeah. But like you said in the book, he ends up being a good guy. So I don't know if that even happens.
Him and Catherine find out what's going on with Medusa or something, and they actually team up. No, or something with like Catherine finds out that Hester is her half sister. And then they team up with Thaddeus, and they convince Thaddeus to help them shut down the city or shut down the weapon or something.
Come on, Dad, don't fight.
Yeah.
Daddy.
So he's like a real turn on that one.
Daddy. Daddy, stop.
Papi, no.
Turn off the weapon, Dad. Jesus.
No, Papi, no.
And that ended the 60-day war.
Oh, yeah. So then the town basically is destroyed. London's destroyed. And the other people, like, just let them come live with them.
All the people on the town. It's not like it's destroyed, but it's not like...
it's not moving anymore.
But it's not killing everybody either. Like, it didn't kill everybody on the ship. So they kind of got the best of both worlds, where, like, they didn't have to destroy London and kill all Tom's friends. They then go into, all the London people come out. The leader of the walled city group is just like, oh, okay, you can come live with us. It's fine, because Catherine's, like, leading them out.
Yeah, you guys can come live with us, even though you were just cheering a ton as you were doomsday raying us. Yeah.
You guys seem pretty stoked about us getting killed.
Yeah.
And then Tom and Hester decide to fly off into anywhere they want together.
The sun.
We can only hope.
Yeah. And that's the end of the movie.
They never even smooch, huh?
I don't
know.
Do they?
Not with that scar.
I don't think they do.
Wow. What does
What does that mean, man?
Yikes.
Smooch my boo-boo.
There's a part in this movie where Tom's flying around trying to save Hester. He like does that thing where he holds the communicator up to his ear like Harrison Ford does. And
he talks to Catherine. About
and he like holds it up to his ear like that with his stupid jacket on. You're like, oh God, they just did this Harrison Ford thing, didn't they? So,
well, there it is.
They fly off together, and that is it. The end of Mortal Engines.
Thank God.
So I want to go around and get your feedback on the movie. I'm going to start with Jordan because he seems to be has something queued up for us.
He seems to hate it.
Jordan, why don't you start it out?
What did I think of this movie?
What did you think of this movie? What's your feedback on Mortal Engines?
I did not like it one bit. I think this is worse than Jupiter Ascending.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like Jupiter Ascending, it just had those silly parts where like this is like it was like I don't know. Jupiter Ascending had the silly parts where you could just kind of laugh at. This was just like I was just like this is dumb. I'm not enjoying. I'm not having
dumb.
I'm not having fun with this at all.
What?
No.
Wow.
Yeah. But like I said earlier, like this made me like this is part of that like that those couple years where in Hollywood they're just pumping out all these young adult movies, like dystopian future type movies, and they're just like this one feels like it was like they're really like tapping the bottom of the barrel, even though this was based on like something based in the 80s, like coming or a book in the 80s, which is different. But I think that there's something there though. Like I do like futuristic kind of movies, sci-fi, even steampunk kind of stuff. Not always, but steampunk kind of stuff. But like this is, I don't know, was not good. I don't think it was executed very well. Even like the premise of like cities eating other cities, like they're on wheels. Why do they have to be on wheels? It's dumb.
Yep.
They didn't really explain that very well.
That's the reason I picked it.
I think had it been fleshed out more, I would like to see what like the other part of the world looks like that it's not part of the rolling wheel city thing would have been cool. But again, like how much can you put in one movie though? So I didn't like it.
Brian, what do you have to say about Mortal Engines?
I mean, it definitely wasn't a good movie. I don't know if it was a bad movie. I liked it better than Jupiter Ascending. And I'll say the one reason I did is because this movie held my attention more than Jupiter did.
Yeah.
I had to fight to watch Jupiter Ascending. And
I fell asleep watching this.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, there are a lot of slow scenes in this, but like, I didn't hate it. It's just that I would never watch it again. I don't think. It's just like, it was a good action fantasy movie, but like you guys said, they just tried to shove too much material into 2 hours to make it make sense. And you could tell that happened. I mean, they not only did they try to shove all that material in, but they changed things around to have it like supposedly flow better in a movie form.
Yeah.
And it just like was a lot of backstory you didn't know about. You just had to assume like, oh, by the way, this is happening. Like, I'm sure with like Trike and the whole like soldier backstory and everything would have been a lot cooler if they had more multiple movies to flesh that out, and like airships and this whole thing. But to shove this all in 2 hours, aside from the visuals, it just didn't do it for me.
Jeff, what about you?
I'm kind of with Brian in, I definitely like this more than Jupiter Ascending. And that was mostly because of, one, the visuals. I thought it looked really cool. Two, I thought the story was pretty cool too, even though maybe not executed the best. Like Jordan said, there's something there, right? There's a reason this movie got made from these books. There's a reason there's, however many books in this series. And they, maybe they didn't get published at first, but they did get published. And I do know a lot of people really like them. I really thought Shrike was like this shining beacon in this film. And it almost, it really made me like that part of it. I thought that story was cool. I thought the end, obviously I brought up gripes with Hester should have just talked to him for a second, right? Like, that's stupid. But like, I like the idea of he was human and he kind of lost his humanity and he got turned into this basically Terminator with, kind of some humanity left. And, in order to get rid of her pain, she was going to become that. I thought like his character was so cool and I really liked him a lot. And I wasn't really, there were only a few times where I was bored, and that was, some of the dialogue scenes, like the political scenes that were like, oh, this faction. But for the most part, this movie was all action, other than a couple little scenes like that. So yeah, I definitely didn't hate it. I don't know if that means it's a good movie or not, but I don't know if I'd watch it again. I don't think so. It definitely has the young adult vibe going ham in this. Like, it's clearly for young adults and people that like that stuff. So
I don't think that's anything wrong with that. There's plenty of like young adult stuff. Like Harry Potter was young adult. Like, I don't know. I think
that's why we have all these books now, is because of that.
I think it's just the execution of it was just not great.
Yep. I think if they probably would have stuck to sounds like if they would have stuck to the actual like original material, it would probably have been a lot better, but it also would have been a lot longer.
Isn't that everything? Anytime they divert from it, it's just like, why would you divert from it?
But like, how much could you tell? But that's the thing though too. Like, how much of the story could you put in the first movie?
Yeah.
You have to leave something out. Right.
Right. And I understand it's kind of like a new IP, right? It's not like when Lord of the Rings was getting made and everyone was like, holy shit, Lord of the Rings is getting made. We already all know and love this story. Like, we're going to go see it no matter what. So, Mortal Engines, I think, suffered from, we want to get everything in here. We want a conclusion, right? Versus like a cliffhanger. So, I get it. It also went up against like Into the Spider-Verse or something, like some crazy. It came out the same time as that, and that was like everyone friggin' loved that timing. Movie. Yeah, that's a horrible movie to go against. It was like, made a ton of money.
And I think that last of the Maze Runner movies came out the same year too. So I don't know if like I like Christopher, you told me about this movie. Like, I don't think I've even heard of this movie.
Yeah.
But when I found out Peter Jackson was attached to it, I was like, I think
he paid for it.
I think
his company bought it, the rights to it.
I didn't know the how he was like attached to it, like what his role was in it, but like I kind of set the bar maybe a little too high for me because he was involved. Maybe that's why I'm so sour on this movie.
So I was just reading this so I mentioned earlier the cities, the bigger cities are called predator cities.
Yeah. That was right.
Okay. Yeah. But there's also kind of the layout of the world, and I just forgot about this, but it's okay. So Great Britain and continental Europe are called the hunting grounds, where the traction cities kind of roll around. And then Shenzhou, that the walled city, is basically the entry into China. So China's like behind the wall, and then America is the dead continent, and that's where they find the weapon. But that's kind of how like the world's laid out. I don't really talk. I don't know if in the movie they don't really talk about anything. But also that prison that Shrike was in was called Sharkmoor. It's a walking prison out in the water. That's pretty cool. I wish I would have talked about that more. I don't know. Anyway, for me, my feedback is I picked this movie again because I heard it was about cities eating other cities, and I got that once, and now I'm mad about it. I think in general, the only reason why I thought I could actually keep my attention was because of the action and the kind of like the way the world was put together, like the entire concept of the world. I just wanted to know why this was happening. Like I wanted to know the backstory of it. It obviously didn't give us a lot of backstory, other than like there was a 60-minute war and now it's 2,000 years later. But in general, I loved the visuals. I thought Shrike was a good character, but everything else was kind of just written for just written terribly. I don't know if it wasn't that it wasn't engaging at all, but the interactions, the first like 20 minutes of the movie, I was like kind of on board, wanted to know where it went, but then everything just started to get really boring.
Even that opening shot when it's a Universal logo and you see all like the blue purple lights going off, and that's Shrike talking, right? Doing that opening monologue thing. He's explaining the like.
Maybe
I'm pretty sure that was him.
Okay. There was a line that he said at the very end of that opening that was like so weird, and it was like, oh God, this is gonna suck. Whenever he said it, I wish I could hear it again, but I can't. The way things are set up. Okay, so in general, I think like I said, the movie was amazing visuals, not very good. There was no meat on the bone there for
for the rest.
Yeah, for like the dialogue, the storyline. Other than like it opens up a lot of interesting things I want to know about, but they don't. And maybe sometimes that's good whenever they don't explain things too much. Yes. But in this case, it's not good because they didn't explain anything, or maybe what they did instead of explaining things was just boring. I thought Hester was a good character, but they didn't use her properly. I don't think like she was kind of just like this husk. It reminds me of what's her name in Jupiter Ascending,
Mila Kunis,
the main character.
Yeah, Mila Kunis. They just kind of like Jupiter Jones. They just let her like kind of be dragged along.
Yeah.
Where Tom became the main character. You're like, this guy sucks.
I hate the flop.
I think in regards to Jupiter Jones, like you're supposed to be her in that situation. Where this, like, she's supposed to be like the badass hero. They set up that way, and then she's kind of becomes, like you said, Chris, this husk of just like, well, why she's not cool anymore. It's Tom. Like flip flopped. It's weird.
They use this idea of like they get her shot at that one point, and then she can't do anything. It's like this little flesh wound that like scrapes her leg, and she can't do anything the rest of the movie.
It was infuriating,
except for be dragging around. And it's like your entire movie is about this. All the imagery for this movie is this girl with this red mask on, and you don't even use her except for like the first opening bit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go around and get your rating for this movie. I'm going to start with Jordan. Jordan, do you give it a thumbs up or thumbs down for Mortal Engines?
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Brian.
This will be a thumbs down because I won't watch it again.
Thumbs down from a Brian.
Oh boy.
Jeff.
All right, I think I'm gonna be a surprise here. I'm gonna actually give it a thumbs up, but I think it's more of like if you want a movie with great visuals that you don't really need to pay attention to in order to enjoy the visuals.
They weren't even that great.
And also, I thought they were awesome. I thought the CG was awesome.
Yeah, the design of everything I thought was good.
And I'm going to give a thumbs up for my boy Shrike because I really loved his character a lot. And I think that's a cool character, and the concept of the thing he is was cool. So I don't think I'll watch it again. I do think maybe some people might enjoy it if they watched it once. So I will give it a thumbs up.
I think if you're in high school right now or middle school and you watch this, you probably think it's amazing.
Yeah. If we were younger, we would probably like this, I would think. More. Maybe not way more, but yeah.
Definitely. And I'm also going to give it a thumbs down. Again, no story. They really just lost. They kind of, it looks like they just put everything into that opening 20 minutes, and then they kind of just
let it ride.
Farted out the rest. It's just like a wet fart. Like Charlotte showed up, was like, yeah. Whenever they fell out the London's butt, they were like, nah, the rest of the movie goes with it.
Butt.
That should have been the name of this film.
London's butt.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for going through that movie with me. And next week, we are going to be watching Brian. What movie are we watching next week?
We are going to watch the Jackie Chan classic, The Legend of Drunken Master.
Nice.
Oh, boy.
Wait, was this the first time Jeff and Urban didn't have the same vote?
Have a thumbs up and yeah, maybe.
No, I don't think that can't be.
Do we change it? I don't know.
I think it is.
Uh-oh.
It is. This is also the first time I've only been the only thumbs up.
Oh.
So,
Which
your
means,
first time thumber.
You're wrong.
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like whenever I give a thumbs down, this is how I feel, Jeff. Welcome aboard.
I mean, look, I don't know, though, but I also thumbs
just me and my
down
own thumb.
I thumbs down Hellboy, but now I'm kind of like, it's kind of in the same boat as this. I don't know.
Save it for the finale.
Yeah,
the season finale.
I don't know, man. I watched it with my lady, so maybe that had something to do with it. We were kind of talking about it while we were watching it and had a fun time. So maybe that's it. Maybe you just need to watch it with somebody, right?
Yes.
In a theater or something. Maybe you just need to make fun of it.
Watch it next to a mannequin.
Without clothes on. No clothes on. Maybe it's way better.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Because we were calling out all the dumb stuff, but we were like calling out all the cool stuff too. And it made it more fun watching it with someone. So I might be biased. I might be more biased.
Maybe in the future we'll do that together with our patrons if we ever do that. Anyway, next movie is, what was it again, Brian?
The Legend of Drunken Master.
The Legend of Drunken Master. Is there any nudity in this?
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
There might be like a butt.
Is anybody hanging brain?
No brain hanging.
Okay.
You do see Jackie Chan's full open butthole, though.
Full of.
And an unedited one. An unedited version, yeah.
Yeah, you got to get the director's cut.
That's how he gets drunk. He boofs it. He sticks it up his butt.
Boofs!
Yeah.
I've never seen it, so I'm going to be going in raw, other than I know who Jackie Chan is. It's the only thing I know about this movie. I know what drunken is, and I know what Jackie Chan is. That's all I got.
You don't know what drunken master fighting is? Like the style with like the...
I guess. I always thought it was just some weird thing
You've
people
definitely
made up.
played video games where people have like chugged stuff and then fought.
I thought it was just like some... I didn't think it was an actual thing. I thought it was just like
style of fighting. Drunken boxing.
Style.
Yeah. I figured that's just some guys getting drunk and punching each other. All right. So, next week we're watching Legend of the Drunken Master or something like that. Please leave a comment on a podcast platform of your choice. Please connect with us on social media. All those links can be found in the show notes below. If you have any questions or suggest a movie for a future episode, please send us an email at watchpals.show@gmail.com. All of those links can be found on our website as well at watchpals.show. We would like to thank Ben Miller for our logo art and for Jeff for doing all of our design.
You don't got to thank me. Quit thanking me.
Stop thanking
Thank you, Jeff.
No.
Everybody say thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
So we will see everybody next week here on the show. Thank you, Jeff, for being here.
Hey, yip it.
Thank you, Brian, for being here.
Wibble wobble, zibble zobble.
And thank you, Jordan, for being here.
Yes.
And thank all of you out there in Watchland. Until next time, please set your watches for the next episode of the Watch Pals. Good night.
Whoopsie doodles.
Set down your glasses.
Whoopsie doodles.
Whoopsie doodles, we're in love.
Whoopsie doodles.
I don't know where the whoopsie doodles.
That's great.
From, right?